Good afternoon. I just found this article. It's quite interesting. It says here, in the Holy Land's other Bethlehem, there are no pilgrims looking for a room, not even at Josef Jäger's Inn. Christmas isn't much of an event in Israel, says the hotel owner. This year, Christmas falls on the Sabbath, so maybe we will have a few extra bookings from couples wanting a romantic weekend. By the way, this article is more than 18 years old. As Christian pilgrims brave yet another conflict-blighted festive season in the Holy Land, venturing from Jerusalem to the neighboring Palestinian town of Bethlehem to celebrate the Nativity, few are likely to consider a detour 90 miles north of a village of a dozen homes known in Hebrew as Bethlehem Galilee, or Bethlehem of the Galilee. Hidden deep in the woods a few miles west of Nazareth, Bethlehem Galilee is without any visible Christian presence, no churches, etc., etc. Here it says, but before the creation of the Jewish state in 1948, Jewish state, not Israel, the village had an intimate connection to Christianity and possibly, say a few outspoken experts, to the Nativity itself. Well. Only 100 years ago, Bethlehem was settled by evangelical missionaries called the Templars, a German sect with colonies in Jerusalem. Oh dear. The Templars were drawn to the Galilean Bethlehem by the ruins of a much older Christian community. Here we have the remains of a monastery and 2 churches from the time of Jesus, says Fleischmann, the owner. Imagine that for a place as small as today's Bethlehem, other archaeological studies suggest that Bethlehem was a long-established community by the time of Jesus' birth. Well, of course it was. Bethlehem is ancient. In my opinion, Bethlehem was the firstborn son of Ephraim. There could also be connections to Hebron. I'm not sure, though. I'm still working on that. There are evidently 2 Hebrons, because Hebron was of Shem. Hebron's name was Eber, and a city named Hebron was named after Eber, and they call it Hebron. And this is where Caleb wanted to live. And Joshua gave him the land in Israel, not Judah. In recent years, a few biblical scholars and archaeologists have dared to propose a revolutionary idea that the Christmas story celebrated by Christians around the world identifies the wrong Bethlehem. The theory's most prominent advocate is Bruce Chilton, an American professor and priest. In his book, Rabbi Jesus, oh dear, he observes that Matthew's gospel, the basis of the nativity story, has led some scholars to suggest the account is fabricated and that Jesus was born in Nazareth. There you go. Chilton, however, suspects that there is a grain of truth in the gospel. It is just that Matthew got his Bethlehems mixed up. In this view, Joseph and Mary traveled the few miles from Nazareth to the Galilean Bethlehem because they were returning to stay with Joseph's family for the birth of their child. Joseph, says Chilton, met Mary after moving from his village to Nazareth in search of work. This account avoids the improbable mammoth journey south and explains the important early Christian remains in the Galilean Bethlehem. But why would Matthew, writing several decades after Jesus' death, switch Bethlehems? Was it Matthew that switched the Bethlehems? The reason is that Matthew wanted to create an early piece of Christian propaganda to win Jewish converts. Bethlehem near Jerusalem is mentioned as the hometown of King David, which is not true, because King David was a Bethlehemite of Ephraim in Israel. Matthew, knowing that it says in the Old Testament that the Messiah will come from the house of David, hoped to establish a credible link between Jesus and King David through the figure of Joseph. Privately, both Jaeger and Fleischmann believe their village is the true site of Jesus' birth. Who is Jaeger and Fleischmann? These men that have German-sounding names, they are Jews. They are Edomites. Though they say attempts at proving it with archaeological digs have been stymied. You see, they don't want the truth to come out. Do we really need a fight on our hands with the Vatican? Let the other Bethlehem have the glory. You see, they always say that the synagogue of Satan is the Vatican, but the synagogue of Satan is Talmudic Judaism, which is masquerading as a forerunner to Christianity, even though they reject the Messiah. So here they're asking for money, etc., etc. But it's a very interesting article. I just found it while I was trying to do some research on Hebron, which was named after Aber, the seventh son of Shem, Bethlehem, of the Galilee, in Israel, not Judah.